Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
Hello!
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Hazbin Hotel. I was about to say Hell of a Boss, but no, Hazbin Hotel. It's come out while I've been away, and now it's all out. Came out over the course of 3 weeks on the good old Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I was going to say, in case you're wondering why we didn't talk about it this week on the podcast for our news, it's because we knew we were doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have done a micro retro, and it would just have expanded what was already over an hour. It was like nearly 2 hours at the time of finishing recording.
It was nearly 2 hours.
Something even longer.
So it was 1 hour 45-ish. That got cut down to 1 hour 15 once the truncate silence got in, and then I gutted about 20 minutes of content because it was boring and or depressing.
Yep. There's a few of those. But before we get too far into that, rather than talking about our weeks, we're going to go with our good old time-honoured tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. Viewers will be rather sick of these, maybe, because we've had nothing but these in the recent years. Not recent years, recent weeks, because I've been away. But yes, here's our first live one in quite some time. What have you got for me today?
In case you can't tell, it's been a while since Rick has hosted.
Yes. So we're good. Words are indeed words.
Yeah, we're dusting off those cobwebs, aren't we?
Yeah, because most of the time I've been talking, it's been to someone who basically is only there to get talked at, and they are waiting for their turn to talk at me for a month or so.
Yeah. But yes, Rick, I've got a question. It's based on Hazbin Hotel, but I'm curious if you can guess as to why, because, the story it's based on is weird. Rick, congratulations.
Right.
You've been given $50,000. You get to make a porn animation, including yourself. What character do you pick to be with?
Can I think of someone who would charge less than $50,000?
Eh? No. The $50,000 is to have someone animate it.
Oh. And it has to star myself as me, right?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Well, you as the cartoon version of yourself in the podcast.
Okay, so I can be a little bit less gross. Oh.
Wow, that's a horrible way of looking at yourself, Rick.
I mean, I'm me all day.
So while Rick thinks, for those of you wondering why this has been based, it's because some YouTuber called Verbalace spent $50,000 on a Hazbin Hotel anime music video, which was everyone said it was porn, but I looked it up and it's not safe for work because of the implications, but it's not porn.
Yeah, I read that Vivzy Pop has actually given this essentially the approval of God.
Yeah, I think the actual controversy came from not so much the animation, so much as the $50,000 came out of his Patreon money, which is a big no-no, and also allegedly the person animating it was not an adult yet. Right. Okay. They were 16, which to me and you, we don't really care because 16 is a legal age here. But at the same time, it's like they probably shouldn't be animating that stuff for money. But on the other hand, $50,000.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. At 16, yes, you are legal to consent for not safe for work things. Not safe for work is a lot lower bar than straight up porn.
Yes, but also it wasn't porn.
Yeah, exactly. So just because it's not safe for work doesn't mean that the 16-year-old, 17-year-old was not qualified to dabble therein.
Yeah. Basically, well, the internet loves controversy, doesn't it? And through, I don't think you can call it Chinese whispers anymore, but that's what I'm going to call it. It just kind of got blew out of proportion. Don't get me wrong, $50,000 out of your Patreon money for things not related to what that Patreon money should be going to is, no, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's scummy on behalf of your Patreons. But yeah, I think I would go with Studio Trigger.
Well, again,
I don't think they will be able to do it for that amount of money, but...
Again, Rick, sorry, you might have misinterpreted the question. The $50,000 was just me making a reference to the thing.
Okay.
What character do you want to see a porn animation of with you doing it with them? That's the question.
Right. Okay. A character. Not who I want to animate it. Okay. Yeah. That's why I was really struggling. I'm sorry.
Rick, do you think I would have sat down and come up with an answer that was an animation studio?
Yes.
I don't know animation studios, and I'm not paying Pixar to make porn.
Oh boy. This one's a bit more difficult. I think one of the easiest ones is She-Hulk, because I know she can take it.
Dude, it's your fantasy. Anyone can take it.
Without it being, let's go with She-Hulk.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
If I have like 3 weeks to think about it, then I might think of a better an answer. But yeah, She-Hulk is my pick. How about you? Who would be the co-star in your $50,000 animated Tug TV?
I am prepared to be ridiculed for this one, Rick. Not by you, but by potentially people watching this, and that is Ida Clawthorne.
Yeah, good one.
It's a real toss-up between Ida and Lilith, but I could believe Ida doing it more.
Yeah. Like, Ida is definitely more up for it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Ida would be... You could animate Ida being enthusiastic and it would be believable, whereas if it was Lilith, she'd have to either be bored or not into it, and that is not something I'm into.
Yeah, I feels it. I'm surprised you didn't say Pearl.
Well, because, to be honest, Rick, there's so many Pearl animations on the internet anyway.
Yeah, that you don't need another. Just use imagination, there we go.
For real, man. And, yeah, it's... Oh, there's so much artwork of Pearl. You can't look up artwork of the Owl House because too much of it is the actual stars of the show, which
right.
I understand why, because that's the fan base age as well. So it's probably people that shouldn't be drawing that sort of thing drawing it. But it's also like off the top of my head, I can think of 5 MILFs in that show. So why the fuck aren't you drawing those?
Yeah. Some of them are awful, but yes.
Yeah, all right. Granted, Kikimora is not a MILF, but she's a short stack. But by definition, just give her tits.
Yeah. Odalia, yeah, do what you like to her. She deserves worse.
That's a horrible thing to say, even about a fictional character.
Oh, yeah. But, like, within the confines of fiction.
I don't know, man. I don't want to... Non-con doesn't do things for me. It just makes my boner feel sad.
No. I'm talking less about non-con and more about you signed the contract, you now have to do this.
That's still dubious at best.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway.
Which is something we're going to be dealing with during the course of this episode.
Oh, Rick, he tied it in. He saved himself. What's your question?
My one for you is one that I unabashedly got to ask Reddit from this morning, and it's... Would you sell a family member for $850 million?
No.
All right.
No, I wouldn't sell any human for any amount of money. That's horrible.
Yep, fair enough.
Rick, what is your answer?
My answer was initially no, because people would know that you'd done it.
That's the reason.
Well, no matter how horrible the worst family member you can think of is, someone still likes them.
But I don't care. Listen, I have a family member that no one in my family likes, and I despise. I won't name them, but people who know me know who it is. And I wouldn't even do it to them. I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to interact with them, and I don't. That's fine. I don't want to actively make their life hell and or miserable.
Yeah.
Anyone who says yes to this question is a piece of shit. Unless, of course, the person they're selling is a family member who abused them as a child, in which case, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. The second answer I gave was sell them all for that amount of money, and then you've got the beginnings of a movie. You're now, like, up there in the top 10 with your Bezoses and your Bill Gateses in terms of money men in the world, and now you can assemble a team to get them back. Okay,
but I assumed with the nature of the question that that's not possible.
Yeah, I didn't go into it because I was one answer out of 100,000. So yeah, I pitched that, and I'm like, oh yeah, this would actually be pretty cool. But yeah, no, it was just a throwaway answer to what would otherwise be a throwaway question.
Yeah,
but yeah, today we're talking about the full release of Hazbin Hotel that came out on, well, end of January. And they just came out with nearly all of it very quickly. They released 2 episodes a week after the first blob of 4.
Yeah,
so
this was very weird, wasn't it? Like, I didn't expect them to put 4 episodes out straight away. I then expected them to... Like, okay, so today's retrospective is a bit smashed together. Originally, we were going to do more Baldur's Gate, and then, oh shit, all of Hazbin just came out while Rick was away, and we both watched it. Let's just fucking do the retro on that. Because we didn't think we'd be able to do this until middle of March at the earliest.
No. We had it on the long plan. And it just so happened to be plannable.
Yeah, man. I wonder why they rushed... Well, I wouldn't say rushed it out, but just banged it out so quick.
Maybe they think they've got something else planned for a different month and they want to have... Well, because Amazon Prime is the one that least needs to have things rushed out on time. Because most Amazon Prime subscribers are there for the Amazon Prime delivery, and they just want the convenience of paying for delivery that they've already paid for.
Yeah. It's one of those where, I don't know. I think The Boys is coming out soon, but like, I really don't think the audience for those 2 shows crosses over much.
I don't know. I think people that like Hazbin Hotel probably would like The Boys. Maybe not the other way around.
Yes, I think that's a fair statement. I think The Boys has got more of a universal appeal is the thing. Like, I like Hazbin, you like Hazbin. We've had a friend of ours who I never would have predicted would be into Hazbin, who watched it and went, oh wow, I like Hazbin.
Yeah.
But I from my perspective, Hazbin feels like very much a niche product.
Yeah. Well, that friend in particular, I would say, if it weren't for having watched it, I would also have attributed Alastor to be something like what he would make as an OC.
Oh yeah. We've got our own term for that, but we won't out him.
Yes.
That's the type
Alastor
of
like.
Yeah, that's the type of character I think he wants to make, but he can never quite make it because at the end of the day, he's still him.
Yeah. Without dropping too much shade, yes.
I don't want to drop shade. I've said all this stuff to him before, and I'm not saying his names. Only out of the people watching this, only 2 people will be able to tell who we're talking about.
And neither of them are going to watch it.
One of them might watch it because they said they were interested, but I also think they were just saying that for the sake of saying it.
Either that or just, would watch the show instead of watching our retrospective about it.
No. The way they worded it was they were interested in our opinions on the show, and therefore they might watch this episode. However, it's that person, so I fully expect that to be bullshit.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, we start with episode 1. This takes place after the pilot, so the pilot's kind of like in a soft canon stage.
Yeah, I'd say it's for. I think there's some details that you probably have to pretend didn't exist in the pilot, but otherwise the pilot is pretty much it exists. It happened.
Yeah, the things that happened. How they happened might have been slightly different.
Yeah,
we've also changed a couple of voice actors.
More than everyone, really.
Yeah. The big one for me. I was not expecting to hear Keith David.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised that Keith David was in this, but then I was also surprised at the character he played because it didn't look like a character I would associate with Keith David.
No, it's very much not the Keith David character.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's more a case of he likes to be on one or the other end of the spectrum in terms of morality. And yeah, all the demons are demons, but he tends to be important.
Well, I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Well, like Anderson or Zavala.
Oh, okay. You just meant the characters he plays tends to be important.
Yeah, the characters he plays tend to be like top percentile of important people in that universe from the viewer's perspective.
I mean, like when we get Husk's sort of semi-episode, it is established that
he was.
He just, I do want to just say this as well because it's been something I've been wanting to say since we both watched the series. Rick, you were wrong.
Yeah. I read a thing, and apparently it wasn't the canon that we were told. No, it's just Adam wants to be a dick.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't have brought it up on the podcast, but like we've talked about Hazbin several times, and several times we've had the disagreement of you telling me that and me responding of I don't understand where you've got this from. I can't say you're wrong because you know more than me about this usually, but it doesn't sound correct. And then it's just like we'll agree to disagree. We'll find out when the show comes out. The show came out and it had nothing to do with it, and I feel vindicated. And that's the last I'm going to say about it.
Yep, that's fine. That's all fine and good. Yeah, this episode we get introduced to Adam for the first time, and can I just say, I like that they don't bring attention to the fact that the angel designs are the same as the imp designs, because all of the demons and angels already know this. They just don't bring any attention to it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we don't see any imps in Hazbin, though, do we?
We might do. I think we do. They're in the background. They're not have speaking roles, but I think we do, like, in the background.
Okay.
Plus, it very much definitely is a shared universe, even though they won't really do crossovers.
Yeah,
I think we even see, legally distinct copies of some of the Helliver characters in Heaven, for instance.
I realise they're a shared universe. I'm just saying I don't remember seeing any imps in Hazbin, background or otherwise. Because here's the thing with Hazbin, because of the locations they go to, there isn't that much background characters.
Yeah. Like they can just go somewhere where there aren't background characters and not have to animate them.
Like the only scene that comes to mind where they had background characters was the when they first went to Heaven, and basically in the same episode when they were in the bar with Angel Dust and Co. There was a bunch of background characters, but they're so colourful and over the top. I wouldn't have been able to distinguish imps from non-imps.
Yeah, kicking about in the streets is generally when you see background characters in Hazbin, like Happy Day in Hell, where Charlie's just halfway down the street already, and there are other people out and about.
Can we just say as well, this series is basically a musical?
Yes. I think there's at least one song every episode.
There's at least one song every episode.
And the problem with that is that, to me, most of them just kind of washed over me. You're like, yeah, they were fun, but I can only really remember like a couple of them.
I don't remember any of the songs, except for Charlie's Strolling Through Hell song, because it becomes a plot point enough that it's sung like 4 times.
Yeah, you get reprises of it. And also, this was the one that was released early as a sneak peek, so people had a lot more time to get used to it and basically chew on it, pick apart every single piece of it, and just enjoy it multiple times over.
Yes. I will say this, because we're sort of talking pre-Hazbin at the moment, or pre-release. I appreciate you don't hang about on the Twitter there anymore, because, it's a shit show, and I pretty much only go on there to, post the episodes every week, which means I'm on there 4 days a week. Not chronically, just, I scroll through a few things because I get easily distracted, and that's why I try to stay off things like Twitter and YouTube Shorts, because otherwise I lose an hour.
Yep.
And there was 2 controversies involving, and I say controversies really fucking lightly, because there was really nothing behind them, with Vivienne Medrano, who is the writer and creator of Hazbin and Haluva. One of them being accusations of them not paying animation staff correctly, which I couldn't find anything to put any substance behind that. That seemed to just be people flinging accusations for some reason. They also criticised her writing style, where characters in her show say fuck a lot, which apparently is a bad thing.
What?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
They're taking the piss that every single Vivienne Medrano, and I'm quoting here, this isn't my words, Vivienne Medrano joke is, character says thing, other character says fuck, and it's like, I watched The Witcher, and for the first half of that season, the only things Geralt said were fuck and Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I will admit, once someone pointed it out to me, I'm like, yeah, they do swear a lot, but it's an adult animation, so why do you care?
Yeah, here's the one, out of all of them, I feel like the one that surprises me that he swears a lot is Alastor, because he seems to be the kind of guy who gets by without swearing.
Yeah, I think he's being influenced by the people around him is the problem.
Yeah, he's loosened up. Like, he didn't behave the way that he does for most of the series in the pilot.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is the fact that it was the pilot and people have to be introduced in different ways. And part of it really is that, yes, he's loosened up and he's become part of a found family. As much as he wants to deny it.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct. I think it's more that he's found the vibe of the group and he wants the group to not suspect him, so he blends in a bit easier because...
Oh, yeah, he's a serial killer.
It's not even his serial... Well, yeah, okay, there is that fact that we sort of know that from his life on Earth, but his ultimate plan has got nothing to do with the crew and Hazbin.
Yeah.
Granted, we don't learn that till the very, for definite, until the very final shot. The other controversy I want to point out, which I didn't dive into because I just didn't want to, it felt like a headache. As you said, they released a few songs as promo material. One of those songs was the episode 4 song with Angel Dust, where he's singing about being used as a porn star, and there's some pretty graphic imagery and suggestions in the lyrics. Considering the subject matter, it makes sense. And a lot of people were complaining on Twitter because this, by the way, we only had the song, we didn't have the context of the episode. And they were like, how dare you have Angel Dust singing and dancing while talking about and intersplicing scenes of sexual assault? And I'm like, I read this and I was like, that sounds pretty bad. However...
Yeah, it's the point of the episode.
Well, again, the episode wasn't out. This was before the series dropped. However, the only thing that was out was the music video. So what I did was, because I'm a 31-year-old dude and I have a bit more experience with controversy, shall we say, when it comes to surrounding TV shows, I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to watch this music video. I'm just going to wait until the episode comes out, because I have a sneaking fucking suspicion that when this plays in the episode, it's going to make more sense.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, things taken out of context are out of context. Just let them cook. Let it be in context.
I will say, on that note, though, it is a weird decision for the people behind the show to take that music video and release it on its own before the series came out as promo material, because I
of
can
all the
see
ones to pick, yeah.
it's a good song, but the subject matter and without the context, I can see why people were a bit pissy about it. I don't agree with them, but I can see their point of view.
Yeah. If it weren't for the fact that Adam was being basically saved for the show, I think the Hell is Forever Whether You Like It or Not song would have been a very good pre-release song, because it sums up most of what happens in episode 1 and like most of the premise from the villain's point of view.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Adam a bit later, but shall we start discussing episodes?
Yeah. So episode 1 is our essentially reintroduction to these people. We get Happy Day in Hell, and we do get the Hell is Forever Whether You Like It or Not, because Charlie goes to the meeting with Adam and accomplishes nothing because Adam is doing what he does.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why Lucifer sent Charlie here.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've no idea either, because I don't know. Maybe he had something that he wanted to try and do, but he seems to be kind of absorbed in what he's doing, which is very little.
Yeah, it's making rubber ducks.
Yeah, making ducks, yeah.
The closest thing I've been able to think of, but it seems a bit callous from the... Once we see Lucifer appear, you can tell he's actually quite an emotional dude. He has connections with, specifically Charlie, and he in a way, he cares too much about things.
Yeah, he is overwhelmingly emotional, and that's his fatal flaw.
Yeah, we'll get to that, I suppose. But, the only thing I can think of is he was trying to subtly, without straight up telling Charlie, no, this is this is a bad idea. But instead of him saying that, he's just like, here's what I'll do, I'll send her to Adam, she'll be able to see what Adam is like, and then she'll know that her plan's not going to work.
Yeah, because being told something's not going to work is different to working it out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
We also get the subplot of this episode, which, in my opinion, is definitely leaded, considering the otherwise serious tone of the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Of Alastor was asked to make a video commercial, but Alastor's the radio demon, so he hates video, which is. The entire time throughout the series, they stick to the bit of every time Alastor is caught on camera, he's all pixelated and blurred.
Yeah. He tries to turn his face away, and he even makes a thinly veiled threat of, this face is made for radio.
Yeah.
Like, part of his mystique is the fact that, yes, some people might know what he looks like, but those people will have found that out from meeting him rather than just being prepared.
Yeah. He purposefully makes a shit advertisement because he thinks TV's trash. He then makes his first deal of the series with Vaggie, where Vaggie's like, I'm not giving you my soul, and Alastor's just like, no. I promise to never make me do anything with TV again, and I'll help you with this one advert.
Which might come back to bite her in the ass.
Oh?
Well, just because, we've not dealt with Vox, and...
Yeah, but Alastor clearly fucking doesn't... Alastor plays it a lot cooler than Vox, but there's clearly a mutual hatred there.
Oh, yes. And yeah, so it's possible that Alastor might need to do something with TV in the future, and it's vague as to whether or not he's able to do it himself out of his own choice in future, but this might bite everyone in the ass. That's something that I thought of when we were watching the show, or when I was watching the show.
I get what you're saying, however, because of the end of the series and Lucifer being fully on board with Charlie now, I don't think they've got a problem as far as big guns is concerned. I will say this, actually, like, it is a bit odd that Lucifer has never stood up to Adam's bullshit before the series, and it's a question that doesn't really get answered. My theory was, because of a line in the last episode, Lucifer says, you mess with my daughter, now I get to mess with you, because I mentioned in this first episode that the only reason why Charlie and Lucifer and co haven't been part of the extermination squads is because Lucifer made a deal. So my interpretation of that, which was never confirmed or denied, was Lucifer's deal was, I won't stop this, but you can't harm these people, this specific subgroup. And then when Adam crossed that line, that's when Lucifer was allowed to let his wings loose, let his abilities shine. However, that's just me piecing together scraps of dialogue which seem like it might fit to that, but in reality it seems like Lucifer just didn't give a shit.
I thought it was more of a personal code, in that if Heaven wanted Lucifer dead, then they would have tried something more direct before now.
But it's not. But that's not what I'm on about. I'm on about the fact that less Heaven's reasoning, more Lucifer's reasoning. Lucifer could have done more to protect Hell. He just chose not to. That's what we're shown. That's what we're told. Now there could be behind the scenes things at play. I don't know. And obviously we've got that last minute reveal of Lilith is chilling in heaven, and the angel second in command, whose name escapes me. I think it's Lute.
Yep.
She's like, oh, your daughter's being a pain in the arse, so now it's time for you to do blah 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 blah. It's a question that would definitely have to be answered next season, but I'm just speculating whether or not Lucifer getting involved is what broke that deal rather than Adam dying.
Yeah, maybe. I find it strange that Lilith ended up in heaven, of all people.
Yeah, but it's been made clear that Lilith is there because of a deal, not because, she earned
sure.
it.
Yeah. Obviously, Lilith managed to sample both fruits, as it were. She was Adam's first wife and ended up with Lucifer.
It's an interesting take on Lilith because, you know what, I know a bit more about demons than perhaps the average person, or demonology, whatever you want to call it. That makes me sound like a fucking warlock, and that's not what I'm going for. But you know what I mean? I'm trying to say it without sounding like a twat, but you can't say it without sounding like a twat.
Oh man, I can just imagine you in your warlock robes with a face tattoo and all that.
I mean, it's one of the only parts of me that ain't tattooed.
Yeah.
But case in point, the Lilith myth is, I forget which Bible it's part of. I think it's the Judaic. But
yeah, like Adam and Lilith being equals, and then once Lilith was discarded, essentially, then we got Eve, who was beneath Adam.
Yeah, because Lilith was just made same as Adam, and whereas Eve was made from Adam's rib. Like, that's the whole fucking story. Depending on what type mythology evolves, and eventually Lilith becomes the mother of all succubi. Depending on what fucking law you look at, sometimes she's the mother of Cain and Abel, which is ridiculous, but whatever.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's story time.
So having her instead be like she was tempted away taken by Lucifer, essentially, swayed by Lucifer, and then having a family with him. It's not a million miles away. It's an interesting take, one I've not seen before.
It's kind of halfway. It's kind of a halfway house, really, isn't it?
Yeah. The only thing that's surprising to me is that less the fact that Lilith is in heaven and more the fact that Lilith abandoned Charlie. There's definitely something else going on. We just don't know what. It's just infuriating that we don't get any hints at all, really.
And I never questioned why Charlie was so white until I saw Lucifer as well having the exact same coloration. I just assumed that she was just pale.
Oh, well, I'd seen artwork of Lucifer before, so I kind of just figured that was why.
Yeah, and then they got the blush stickers on and just look like clowns.
Yeah. But yeah, the big deal of the end of episode 1 is that the exterminations happen once a year, and Adam's like, well, we're going to be back in 6 months, bitches, because we don't like you. But in reality, it's because, an angel got killed, and that's pretty much the plot point for the entire season, is the extermination clock is a lot faster than usual, and the whole reason why is because an angel got killed, but nobody actually knows that.
Yeah. Apart from the people that obviously do.
Yeah.
Like the person who did.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We don't get to that till episode 3 either. It's just a looming plot point.
Yeah. So next we have Radio Killed the Video Star, and this is the Vox versus Alastor episode. But also it's Serpentius's recruitment episode.
Yeah. We get introduced to the group known as the V's. They got referenced before, but because their name went by so quickly, I didn't fucking realise it was the name of a group. I thought it was just a fucking weird thing the demons were saying.
Yeah. So what, we've got Valentino, Vox, Val. Do we have any others?
It's Vox, Valentino, and Velvet. Yeah. They find out Alastor's back, and the whole reason why they're pissy is because, hey, they asked Alastor to join them back when they first formed, and Alastor said no.
Yeah. It's more. I think it's more Vox was pissed off with that than all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's case in point. Valentino is bitching to Vox because Angel Dust is staying at the hotel instead of with him, and Vox is like, I don't care about this. And Valentino so unsubtly just says, by the way, Alastor's back and he's there, and that's when Vox starts sending trash tapes over the media. And it's so funny because it almost gives you the impression that Alastor just would have left them alone if they didn't start shit.
Oh, totally. Another one is, this is where we get our closest thing to a real crossover, in that Valentino has a Fizzaroli Robo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was a very quick reference.
Yeah. It's also kind of good that they changed the voice actor for some of these, because Angel Dust was Fizzaroli. No, wait. Fizzaroli was someone else. I think Fizzaroli was, I think he was Husker. But yeah, he was one of them.
I don't remember Fizz's voice in Hazbin's pilot. I really don't. In fact, the only person... I don't remember any of them.
No, wait. I have it backwards. Fizz's voice is both Serpentius and Adam.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting a lot of mileage.
Yeah, so Fizz is in...
Beetlejuice guy.
Yeah. I was going to say Fizz is Adam, because Adam sounded like a character who I recognised. Honestly, because of... you're talking about imps looking like angels. Adam looks a lot like Mammon.
Yeah. Mammon being greed. Adam would essentially be lust, if anything else, because he's not a good guy. But like, of all of the sins, I think lust is the one that he's most open about.
No, I think he'd be Wrath.
Sure.
Here's the thing: he's a human. He kind of has a bit of everything in him.
Yeah. He's got all the sins, but not enough of any of them to make him into the demon lord of any one of them.
Well, I will say something that bugs me a lot about Adam and Heaven in general in this show is Adam doesn't keep his mask up very well at all.
No, and nobody calls him out on it at all. Like, all it takes is to, like, put a demon in front of him, and he'll just immediately reveal all of his plans, because he's taunting the demon and not keeping any secrets away from literally everyone else.
The most he gets is when Charlie goes back to hell with Vaggie. I've actually genuinely forgotten her name. Not the good one who sides with Charlie, but the one who's in charge of all of it, of the court. She,
I'll get her in a sec.
All she does is she says, that was uncalled for. That was it. That was all the recompense that fucking Adam got from the heaven side. And I can kind of see, it's my own biases painting this take, but the only thing I can take away from it is, uppity religious people are hypocrites. And it's just
Sarah the Seraphim.
There you go. The other one I think is called Emily, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only take I can take away from it, because otherwise there's no reason why everyone should blindly follow Adam in this one. Like, and the one that really drives it home, and I know we're jumping forward a little bit here, is Charlie says fuck once, and everyone gives her an evil look and tells her to shush, and she's like, sorry. Adam says fuck 1,000,000 times and no one bats an eye.
Nah, because apparently he's earned his place there, despite the fact that nobody knows what earning means.
It's really bothersome. It's not clear why nobody turns on Adam in that scene except for one character, other than the plot demands it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to episode 2.
Yeah, it's just... I think Serpentius is like the stealth star of this episode as well, because I really like watching him. He's a lot of fun every time he shows up. He's still got his egg boys. I think this is the episode when he gets them confiscated.
No, that's the next one, because it's called Scrambled Eggs.
Oh, okay.
And it's the plot of the episode.
Yeah, where Alastor has the eggs and he's running around with them all day. Yeah.
I was surprised by how much I like Serpentius.
Because he was a bit of a... In the pilot, he was basically... Yes, he was fun to watch, but it was just a case of when he was on screen, it's where's Poochie? Get to Alastor, get to Charlie.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel that way in the show proper.
It's weird, because he has a serious character arc throughout the show, but he's also very definitely in the territory of comic relief.
Oh, yes. But I think that's part of it. Because he's comic relief, it makes the character arc kind of more believable, that nobody believes him, and yet he's the one that accomplishes all this.
Speaking of no one believing him, that's pretty much the way he gets discovered, is Angel Dust is nobody believes in him, no one thinks he's taking it seriously, and to be fair, he's not. So when Serpentius is here and he's doing everything as he's supposed to, everyone's like, yeah, good job, Pentius. So then Angel Dust gets a bit jealous. He keeps an eye on Pentius and finds the camera.
Yeah, because Pentius has been told, go join this as a spy, but very quickly he becomes the mask.
What?
Like, becoming the mask is when you have a false identity, but you just, like, it stops being false partway through.
Oh, okay, sure. He gets caught. Angel Dust beats the fucking shit out of him. Charlie does another little song. And I remember this song specifically because she says, sure, we could just kill him. And then Angel Dust and Vaggie both go, yeah, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But that was generally fun. Anything else from this episode?
I feel it would be a sin not to mention the very awesome final shot of Alastor looking into the camera and just smiling menacingly before smashing it.
Yeah, because every other camera just kind of like glitches and melts, but this one he personally takes care of.
Yeah, a big old fuck you to Vox.
Yep. And also the part where they actually are recruiting Serpentius, and Alastor goes, "Oh, you're the one who ruined my coat. I definitely remember you now."
Yes. And Pentius very nervously gives him the scrap back. I don't think Alastor accepts it.
I think he burns it.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of telling that Pentius took the scrap as a trophy of, I finally inflicted a scratch upon this monolithic opponent that I had. And this is what I have to prove it. And it's like Thanos with all that for a drop of blood, really, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think the scrap got taken in this episode.
Yeah. But like it's, I think it's implied that Pentius has been trying to take a crack at basically anyone, but Alastor in particular.
Okay.
Just to assert himself, because Alastor asserting himself worked very well. He showed up, and then Demon Lord started disappearing. Pentius has his death machines, and if he pointed at worse characters, as in like less powerful things, he could just wipe the floor with a lot of them. But he seems to try to want to punch up, which I kind of respect.
Well, we'll get to that, won't we?
Yeah.
Scrambled Eggs, episode 3.
Yeah. This is the one where Alastor goes around with the Egg Boys and finds out that he actually kind of likes having minions.
Yeah, the episode basically starts with Serpentius receiving an order of magical weapons from our very first hint of, I think her name's Camilla. And I forget if it's Vaggie or Charlie that just goes, you can't order a bunch of weapons here. This is a safe space. You have to trust us. To which Serpentius just goes, "But I don't trust you."
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, that's when he gets his egg minions confiscated. And yeah, Alastor refers to the minions... Serpentius calls them his egg boys, and they're adorable.
Yeah, they are. I really like the Egg Boys. Another one is... so the other angels beneath Velvet are Carmilla and Zestial. That's her daughters, I believe. And those are the ones who she's Velvet protects them from the exorcists, and that's why she's got exorcist gear, in that she has taken it from exorcists in the past.
I'm sorry, you've confused me a little bit. Why are we talking about Velvet?
Oh, sorry, because this is basically when she shows up for the first time, so it's kind of like what's important about her above everything else.
Velvet appeared in the last episode.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Are we talking about the same person? Or are we getting confused? I'm very sorry.
My bad. Yeah, this is the one where they first start contracting with the cannibals, isn't it?
No.
Huh. I'm completely confused about this episode then. So yes.
Scrambled Eggs, what happens is we follow Alastor for pretty much the bulk of it. He's got the egg minions. He meets Zestial, who I think you mentioned, but I was so confused by you mentioning Velvet. Zestial's the old overlord, the ancient one. Everyone is just like, oh shit, and then they fucking shit themselves and run away. Alastor buddies with him. They go to the overlord meeting, which Alastor is like, aren't you wondering where I've been? To which I believe it's Carmilla who just goes, no, and then they move on. So it's our first hint that actually Alastor isn't all that.
Yeah. Like, he's been knocking off demon lords, but we do find out that Husk used to be one of the ones that was one of his targets, essentially. And rather than being added to his choir of screams, he just got made into someone on a leash.
Yeah. That seems to be how you become an overlord, is by having a bunch of demon lords in your service, I guess.
Yeah, you become a lord of lords.
But yeah, so Carmilla again, I think, is the one we're talking. Carmilla's the one with the really fucking sexy legs.
Yeah.
She's the one, at the end of the episode, they reveal that she's the one who killed the angel because she didn't want her daughters to die.
Yeah. Carmilla's the arms dealer, and she's got the angel tech, as in captured spears and everything. And the another side call is that this is where all of the anti-demon lord weaponry comes from in Helluva as well.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare and far between in Helluva, because I think we've only seen one, and it was his name, sniper rifle.
Yeah, the gun that he uses to try and kill
Stolas.
Yeah, Stolas.
and the knife as well. Striker.
Oh, yeah, the gun and the knife. Yeah, Striker. Striker's gun, Striker's knife.
Yeah. So apparently to kill an overlord and to kill an angel themselves, the only thing that works is angel weaponry. That being said, one of the big issues is that all the overlords now know that an angel has been killed, because I think this is why you brought up Velvet. Velvet brings in the angel head.
Yes, and it still has blood in it, and it's yellow.
Yeah, it's gross. But yeah, they're like, we don't know how this thing got killed, but they can be killed. So, and this is where the big problem comes in, where I think Lucifer doesn't want to let Hell know too much, because some of the overlords and some demons are very quick to be like, if they can be killed, then we can take them over.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where if we sit back and take it, then the really strong ones won't get targeted anyway, and it's just going to be the chaff that gets murdered every time. If everybody knows that they can be killed, then that means there's going to be a war, and he doesn't want another war.
Yeah, but it's at the same time, though, it's just so fucked that a bunch of people who might have survived didn't, because you didn't tell them that there was a chance.
Yeah. What also sucks is that I think Lucifer still technically does count as an angel, so he can just do whatever he likes to them. We don't know how much of this extends to Charlie, though.
I don't think he is an angel still. But I
don't know.
Here's the thing. The difference between angel and demon seems to be so superficial.
Yeah, it's very superficial. It's one of those where, as much as I riffed on like not liking Adam's design because it's just so too similar to the imps but recolored, or to Mammon in particular, he does have an additional design underneath the mask. And I think he looks cooler like that, but that's just me. Oh well. Guy with a face is not as marketable as that.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, the episode ends where we learn the information that we need to know. That is, the angels are killable by angel weaponry. Alastor learns this and tells the Egg Boys to be quiet. So of course, when the Egg Boys are reunited with Serpentius, it immediately tells him. But Serpentius doesn't bat an eyelid because, and I quote, "They say crazy shit all the time."
Yeah. I like how that was the actual reason why he just didn't tell anybody. They talk bollocks the entire time. Why would I believe any one thing that they say?
Like, for real. And to make the point worse, to hammer the point home, he points at one of the eggs and they say some bullshit conspiracy theory and he just goes, "See?" And it's the most valid defense ever.
Yeah.
Shall we go to Masquerade?
Yeah, Masquerade. So this is the Angel Dust episode, and also the Husk episode. And it's the one that it goes deep into Angel Dust's trauma, and the moral of the story is that people go through things. Rather than throwing up walls, if you're going through something, just roll the dice and open up, because it's possible that someone else is going through something maybe not as bad, maybe worse.
I think you got to choose that one a bit more carefully than not at all, because there are a fair few people who, in this day and age...
Oh, yeah, they'll pile on. They'll pile on. They'll treat it as a chink in your armour.
Especially with sexual assault, there are people who look down on victims of sexual assault, who have this weird fucking rationale of, well, how did you let it happen? You know? So I wouldn't say open up about that to just anybody, and that might be a bad fit. I'm not a fucking expert on this type of thing. Don't listen to me on this, but my point of view is limited as it is, that maybe don't just tell any Tom, Dick and Harry.
Yeah, when I say roll the dice and open up, the idea is roll the dice and open up with people that you already trust. But yeah, this episode contains the song Poison, which is the song I mentioned earlier that had a bit of controversy around it, that was released on its own, and the visuals are not pleasant. They're not meant to be. No. And it contains one of my other favourite songs from this season, Loser Baby. Which is,
reminding us that Keith David can sing. Yeah.
If it's been quite a while since you saw Dr. Facilier, Keith David has pipes.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it starts out as a pep song, and then it just swerves into, yep, all this shit that you think about yourself is probably true. Just embrace being a little shit.
And it's kind of hammered home that it doesn't matter that much, because even though they're singing about being complete losers on the totem pole, they're doing that at the same time as killing some motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only reason Husk follows Angel Dust in the first place is because Charlie sends him after him, because Charlie already feels bad because of what she did.
Yeah. And Husk has been having a go at Angel Dust for quite a while, because Angel Dust has been trying to flirt with Husk quite a lot, because it's just what he does. And Husk is like, I'll have a bit more respect for you if you just stop being so fake. And Angel Dust's initial reaction is, I'm an actor. And then you go through this episode and it's a facade that I need to put up all the time.
I mean, one of the other points that hammer at home as well is when he's walking away in a bit of a strop, he straight up turns to Husk and just goes, you'd be lucky to get with this, while, buggering off. And it's just like, Husk's gimmick is, I am the bartender, but he's like that wizened bartender in reality where he just sees through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
However, he lacks a certain amount of tact, shall we say.
Oh, yeah, totally. But what he lacks in tact, he makes up for in, pure sincerity. If you hear something from Husk, you know that it's true from his point of view.
Yeah. That sort of hasn't even changed from the pilot, because in the pilot, when he gets dragged in, he's like, oh, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. You think you can buy me off with all the cheap booze I can drink? Well, you are correct, sir.
Yeah, although we obviously know now that with the benefit of hindsight, that was not the only thing he was being bribed with.
No, it was. I think it was even implied back then that back then it was he was brought in by essentially the stick, but then offered a carrot anyway.
Yeah, but we don't get confirmation of that until this series. Even in this episode, Angel Dust is like, "Oh, I sold my soul to an overlord, and I regretted it ever since." And Husk hints at his situation by saying, "And you think that makes you special?"
Yeah. Yeah. Angel Dust is under Valentino's thumb, and this is something that pretty much, I think it's all of the male characters in the main cast, apart from Serpentius, have in common. They've got a deal that they've made with somebody that they're all desperate to get out of, except for Husk, who's not really that desperate to get out of it seems.
Yeah, Husk is in a weird place, isn't he? Because nobody likes having a leash, but at the same time, if your leash is pretty loose, some people just get used to it. It's implied Husk has been in this situation for long enough that he just kind of rolls with it.
Yeah, he's just kind of accepted being essentially a pet demon lord.
Yeah, the thing is, Husk doesn't get nearly as much sympathy as Angel Dust in this, because Husk's is entirely, his self-destructive behaviour is he's a gambling addict.
Yeah, and if it seems like the main way he's been kept away from relapsing is by not having enough of a fortune to gamble away.
I mean, you're saying that, but when he gets dragged to the Hazbin Hotel the first time, he's literally been dragged out of a poker game.
Yeah, that too.
So, it's one of those. Yeah, this episode starts really quite depressingly, and it ends on a bit of an upper note, but it starts with Charlie, God bless her soul, doing her best to try and help Angel Dust, and she just makes everything worse.
Yeah.
That being said, Valentino also reminding us that he's completely disgusting by licking Charlie's arm. That scene made me literally shiver.
Yeah, is this the episode where it just ends with Valentino just cowering to Vox?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm remembering things poorly.
I don't remember Valentino doing that at all.
Yeah, well, basically he's bottom banana of the V's.
Yeah, but I don't remember him outright cowering.
Fair enough. I was thinking of he was basically just not some, maybe cowering, maybe sucking up, just basically proving that he's bottom banana.
But
also another interesting thing in this one is that Angel Dust is so scared of Valentino that he doesn't trust that Charlie can handle herself.
Yeah, to be fair, up until this point, we haven't seen Charlie deal with anything. That being said, we get the first hint of Charlie snapping in this episode, don't we?
Yeah. I think the only other time she's actually used her demon form is when, in the pilot, where she just slips into it in the song, and then she gets into a fist fight and doesn't use her demon form.
Wow.
And that's part of why Alastor came to the hotel, because he thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's valid. We end on the bit of the happy note of Angel Dust finally comes back to the hotel with Husk, and Charlie's still sobbing and tries to apologise, and Angel Dust goes, don't sweat it, I forgive you, and then Charlie continues to cry as she goes, he forgives me, and Vaggie has to take care of her.
Come to bed, dear. But yeah, I think this was possibly, I'd say this is the most heartfelt episode and it was a good one to kind of end the initial dump on.
Yeah.
Because it gives us a little bit of anticipation time before the next one.
I might also suspect that they might have chosen to dump these first 4 episodes to try and dispel the cloud hanging around Poison.
Right, yeah, I feel it.
That's the only thing I can think of right now, and I'm probably wrong.
Yep. I think the way that I watched this, I ended up... the episodes 5 and 6 dropped while I was watching episodes 1 to 4.
Could be, especially... bear in mind, Rick was in Australia at the time.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that he was awake at a stupid hour of the night because his body clock was still adjusting.
Not even that. It was a case of the first 4 episodes dropped while I was in the air, and then I basically didn't stop and have time to myself until like quite a few days later, and it being about a week sounds about right.
That's fair. I didn't watch all of these until they were all out because fuck paying Amazon Prime more than 1 month subscription.
Sure.
I don't like Amazon.
However, it is worth doing it the official way and making sure the clicks get counted correctly, because it shows the company that this thing got clicked by a real person.
I want the crew behind Hazbin to realise that they made me fling money at Amazon, so therefore they should at least count that as a bit of a win.
Yep. But yeah, episode 5, this is where Lucifer pops in.
Yeah, Dad Beat Dad, which is hands down my favourite episode.
Lucifer's introduction song is kind of like a dual song with Alastor, where Alastor's just trying to get under Lucifer's skin. It's like, yeah, where were you when Charlie needed you? Oh, wait, exactly where I'm standing right now. Haha.
Yeah, it was a fun song. I felt bad for Charlie during this because she has clearly entirely fallen under Alastor's trick.
Yeah. Like, the other point is, like, the reason I feel bad for Charlie during this is because she's a prize and not a person of the song.
I get what you're saying. I don't think Lucifer's seeing her that way, but I certainly think Alastor is. Because you got to bear in mind, it was Lucifer's song and Alastor butted in.
Yes, fair enough. And yeah, Lucifer showing that he's not all-powerful and all-knowing by calling Vaggie Maggie.
I tell you what, I did love the line of Charlie just thrusting Vaggie in Lucifer's face and going, "This is my girlfriend," and Lucifer just going, "Girls! You like girls! I like girls! We have so much in common!"
Yeah.
The reason why I like that line is it's one of the things that drew me to Sarah in Dragon Age Inquisition, because you can flirt with her a lot before she shuts that shit down, partly because she doesn't realise you're flirting.
Yeah, and then she goes, "Oh yeah, we got one too many things in common, like our taste in women."
Like, yeah, we both like girls, and then you're like, "Oh, that sucks, but fair enough."
Yeah.
And then you continue to be two little bastards around camp, menacing innocent people's lives.
I think she takes longer to shut you down if you're a Kunari, because she wants to know what a Kunari woman looks like.
Okay.
And she thinks that you will be able to facilitate that. And her way of shutting you down is like, "Oh yeah, that's not my thing. Your thing isn't my thing."
Okay.
But yeah. Sorry, that's enough Dragon Age talk for now.
But yeah, we get the call of Charlie wants to go visit Heaven and talk to them directly, specifically about Adam and her hotel. And Lucifer doesn't know this when he turns up. He just turns up because he's that quick. And we realise Lucifer really doesn't have a lot going on because he's just playing with rubber ducks.
Yeah. It's not as if he ditched anything because he was doing anything important. He was just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Like, technically he is the king of hell.
Yeah.
But nobody really defers to him at all.
Yeah. I mean, I shared a nice piece of fan art that I saw on Twitter with you, Rick, of Lucifer approaching the free overlord, the free basically kings of sin from Haluva Boss and going, "Sorry, I've not been around much, guys. Here, I brought you these," and they're little ducks that look like each of them, and they're all just like, "Oh my god, this is adorable. Why is this dork in charge of us?"
Yeah, and in a rare pet the dog moment, Mammon goes, "Mate, mind if I sell these?"
Yeah. God, I love Cusack's voice.
Yeah. And I'm still annoyed that we went so close to Dapto and didn't actually get to go there. But oh well.
Yeah.
It would have taken an extra 2 hours out of our way to be able to do so. But oh well. Yep. Yeah. So I like Lucifer's design, but I find it a bit weird how he's really tiny. But that's also kind of endearing, and people just do bring it up as well.
I mean, it's one of the first things Alastor says.
Yeah.
But it's literally Wolverine, man. Like, he's the shortest motherfucker in the world, but goddamn, he's the one you want to least piss off.
Oh yes, Absolutely.
It's one of those where this is the episode where Husk revealed why that line with Husk saying, "Oh, you think that's unique," is actually quite telling, because Husk goes up to Alastor and Husk pokes the beehive that is Alastor. He says, "It's not nice having a leash, is it? You should know." And Alastor that flips a switch, and it's our first time seeing Alastor probably legitimately pissed off.
Yes. Like, this is the first time we get to know that Alastor actually has also made a deal and is beholden in some way to another power. Because before this, all we knew is that he just showed up, asserted himself, and was very good at it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see who's pulling his leash. I really couldn't tell you off the top of my head, although people have speculated that it might be Lilith, but I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that would be weird. And also, apparently, the way that he died in life was being shot by a hunter.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Which is why his part of why his form is a deer.
I guess the implication is if he was a serial killer and he was burying bodies in the woods, and a hunter just saw something and went, "Fuck this," you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not something that's been outright stated or shown, so one can only speculate. But yeah, the episode... the whole reason why Husk goes to see Alastor is because Alastor's friend Mimsy has appeared, and she borrowed a loan she couldn't pay back, so now a bunch of people are pissed at her.
Yep. And Alastor gets to have his establishing power fantasy moment of, time to remind everyone why I'm still here. And he just lets loose on all of the people trying to come after Mimsy.
Man, you talking about people hitting up, like, I've never seen Alastor hit up, except for once, and it didn't work for him.
Oh, yeah. Like, so Pentius tries to do it all the time. Alastor seems quite content to punch down.
Which, you know, is how the rich get rich and stay rich. But hey-ho, diddly-do. The episode ends on a bit of a dour note because we realise why Lucifer's kind of locked up away on his own, and that's because he's lost everything from both almost literally and also he was a dreamer and that dream was crushed.
Yeah, he loves everything too much and the world is out to prove him wrong.
Like, as far as a divine punishment goes, the divine in this instance picked a good one because it fucking worked.
Yeah, it locked him in hell, which is just proof after proof after proof that sin is gonna sin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this take on Lucifer as someone who's his spirit might have been broken a little bit, but he's still the idealist that he always was, just maybe a little bit deflated from his glory days.
Well, it's also that he's suffered this massive blow, and the one thing that he wants to do right now is make sure his daughter doesn't suffer the same blow. And eventually he relents, and he does get Charlie her meeting with Heaven, but he says, "I think this is a bad idea."
Yeah. And also we get that little yay from Vaggie where Charlie goes, "And you're coming with me," and she goes, yay.
I like how they don't try and hide beforehand Vaggie's true identity, but at the same time they were subtle enough that I really didn't catch it until the show outright told me. Yeah,
they're not hiding it, but they're not advertising it. It's similar to what they do with the angel, with the executioner forms. Like, people who know. And on a rewatch, it's really obvious. So yeah, we get episode 6, Welcome to Heaven.
Charlie looks right at home in heaven, don't she?
She does. She behaves right at home in heaven.
You know what? I'll tell you this as well. Something that did confuse me a lot when I've watched this was, how come Vaggie hasn't been redeemed yet? And it's like, well, of course she can't be redeemed because there's nothing to redeem.
Yeah. I think I like that comic that you sent me of
living in
let's
sin.
Never get married, so it's always a sin.
Yeah. Every time we sleep together, it's a sin. And she's telling all this to Alastor, by the way, and Alastor the artist fucking caught his "I don't give a fuck" look so well.
Yeah, it's where he has the same expression and his eyes just move from looking at the person to then going back to polishing his microphone or whatever he's doing.
Yeah. That's not a euphemism, by the way, guys.
Oh, no, he's part of the previous episode is the ace in the hole line.
Nope.
That Mimsy gives.
Nope.
Was it not that previous episode?
No, it comes in episode 7. It's from the cannibal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Alastor being the ace in the hole.
The whole joke, because
he's confirmed asexual.
Yeah, because Alastor brings Charlie to the cannibals, and the cannibal lady, whose name escapes me, I apologise, straight up says, "Oh, she's a bit young for you, Alastor." And Alastor's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And that's when she goes, "Oh, don't worry, darling, I know you're the ace in the hole." And Alastor's again goes, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, this is the first time we see an angel who looks like the cherubs that we saw in the cherub episode of Hell of a Boss. He's the basically the St. Paul, not St. Paul. Is it St. Peter? The Pearly Gates guy.
I believe it's Peter.
Yeah, Peter, Paul, potato masher, whatever.
He's very inconsequential, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, he goes. He's just a doorman. But yes, this is the episode where we get the most that we ever see of heaven.
Yeah, it's also the return of Cherry Bomb.
Yeah, Cherry Bomb has moved from being a standard American to being an awesome Aussie.
I was going to say, straight up Australian.
Yeah.
I do love this episode because Serpentius' flirting is the most adorable thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's been nemesis with Cherry Bomb for quite some time, but has always had like a rival boner for her, and now that she's here and he's not in his death machine, he's got a really awkward boner for her. It's really cute.
Yeah, I do find it funny how he just goes, "They have a sex room. Shall we have sex?" And Cherry Bomb's like, "Why the fuck would we do that?" It's like, "Because I'm going to have sex with everybody." And he immediately gets dragged off.
Yeah. Well, that's the second one he does as well. Like the first one is buying her a drink. "Shall I buy you a drink? Because I'm going to buy a drink for everybody."
Yeah. Bear in mind, Cherry Bomb originally was just going to take Angel Dust out, but Charlie was like, "Take everybody." And Cherry Bomb's like, "Why the fuck would I do that?" To which Charlie's response is, "Have some money."
Yeah. Yeah.
And to Cherry Bomb's credit, she does seem to actually spend it on the group.
Yeah, she spends it on the group. She makes sure the group has a good time. I think Nifty has a very good time.
Nifty has too good of a time, and it's kind of what ends up saving Charlie's bacon.
Yeah. Nifty having too good of a time is like a recurring thing. Like even in the trust building exercise, which is like episode 1 or 2, like Nifty failing the trust fall over and over was so hilarious to her that she just kept doing it when nobody was there to catch her.
Yeah, I want to know more about Nifty because she's been a feature in every single episode so far. We just haven't really spoken about it because a lot of her antics are just, she is the crazy little ball of energy. Yeah,
it's Nifty does something goblin is pretty much what's in the script notes for nearly every time you see her.
Yeah, can't even argue.
Yep. But yeah, this is the way that we see most of the main cast's antics outside of Charlie and Vaggie is the way that the angels see it as well. They're basically spying and scrying as the goalposts keep getting moved for what would it take to redeem someone, and by sheer accident, Angel Dust fulfills all of these.
I wouldn't say it's by accident. It's one of those weird things where the demons all have their vices and they're all arguably horrible people, but if they have people they care about, they're going to look out for them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where a demon is kind of the ultimate individual, and at the very core of it, they're true to themselves, and we just so happen to be following a bunch of them that are kind of aligned in interesting ways with certain virtues.
And I will say this, I think there's a line here that actually explains a lot as to why heaven can't understand hell. Because the first go-around of watching Angel Dust & Co., it's like, see, they're miserable excuses for blah, blah, blah. And Charlie's defense is, haven't you ever had a bad day and you need to unwind with a drink at the end? To which Adam, I believe, responds with, this is heaven, there are no bad days. And it's like...
Yeah, exactly.
There's no possible way for the people in heaven to relate to the people in hell if that's the case.
There is no adversity to combat against. Those that are born there, i.e. the angels, have never had a mortal life with setbacks. And the ones who have made it there, who were formerly mortal, which includes Adam, have only had a comparatively short amount of time as mortals with setbacks, and probably have forgotten about how shitty it was to be mortal.
There's actually a good subplot in Sandman, which I've not finished yet, because I've only just gotten to this point. Will be resolved soon, I'm sure. But Sandman makes a bet with Death over because someone's boasting, if I lived forever, I'd have the best time, blah, 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 blah. So Sandman and Death decide to grant this person that on the condition that every 100 years he meets with Sandman at this spot and they'll find out whatever. And each time they go there, it's just like, it's great, I'm this, and this, and they keep going up and up and up and better. And then they get to a point where they have a really bad 100 years and they're like, I've lost my sons, I've lost my wife, I have no money, I'm barely eating, I can barely survive. And Sandman's like, is it still worth it to live forever? And he just goes, yeah, of course, because it can only go up from here.
Yeah.
Like, if there's no consequence, it's a bit odd, you know?
Yeah, the only consequences are to other people, really, like when you're immortal like that. So yeah, it's one of the curses of immortality is when other people are also not immortal alongside you.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Whereas in heaven, they don't have that problem because everyone's in heaven.
Yeah, it's one of those. Obviously, we're proven wrong by the end, given Sir Pentius, but it doesn't make any sense to me how the fuck Adam's in heaven.
Yeah, me either. Meanwhile, we do see Molly, who is Angel Dust's twin sister, in heaven.
Do we?
Yeah, I think she's just one of the background characters and just looks just like him.
Okay.
But yeah. We have this really cool dual song where Emily and Charlie are basically flirting with each other throughout the entire song, stood back to back as badasses, calling heaven out on its bullshit.
Yeah. So again, blows my mind that the only person that gets swayed in this argument is Emily. Yeah,
blows my mind. And especially with Emily on their side.
I can only assume that the message to take away from this is old people are too set in their ways and or organised groups and cults are wrong. That seems to be the two main things that are stopping a lot of people from going, yeah, this is dumb. Why are we just rolling along with this?
Yeah, it's people get set in their ways doing the thing they did yesterday. And also, young people need to be ignored because idealism is for kids.
Also, Adam straight up spills the beans about the extermination, which so far has only been able to be done because Heaven at large doesn't know about it.
Yeah, and Sarah basically just goes, for fuck's sake.
And, Adam straight up says, Charlie and Co. and your hotel is the first target of the next one. And the only thing Sarah says to that is, that was uncalled for.
Yep.
That's it!
Yep.
Yep. I don't know, man. It's just... I can only assume things were rushed behind the scenes.
Yeah, because otherwise I could see Sarah being written in a lot more depth, which I'm assuming we're going to get in season 2, now that Adam's gone.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't even know what's going to happen next season, man, because, clearly the big problem is going to be Lute. Lute? Is it Lute or Loot?
Yeah, Loot. I think it's just Loot.
Yeah, well, it's Lute's going to be the big issue. By the way, we'll talk about that in the final fucking episode as well, but hey, and obviously they've got Lilith who's going to do something, but I don't know what, apart from potentially come down and tell Charlie she needs to stop, but I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. This is kind of the episode that drives a wedge between Vaggie and Charlie, but also kind of not, in that we harp on about this nearly every time there's something like this happens. If they had the conversation, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, but I kind of give this one a pass because, one, Vaggie, once her secret is outed... Okay, here's the thing. The conversation should have happened between Adam's threat and the trial, but it didn't, and I can understand why Vaggie was hesitant. As soon as the truth is out there, Vaggie is trying desperately to have a conversation, and Charlie's not ready for it yet. And, while yes, I'm a proponent of just talk, I can get it from this one, because this is the first time I assume Vaggie is Charlie's first serious relationship?
Probably.
And this is the first time she's outright experienced Vaggie lying about something big to her. So I think...
Not even lying, just intentionally withholding, which is potentially worse, because it just allows the other person to come up with lies on your behalf.
It's lying by omission. It's absolutely lying what Vaggie did, because, she didn't tell the truth. She chose not to tell the truth. She didn't say that she wasn't an angel, and that's an excuse a lot of people use when they get caught in one of these lies, is, I didn't say X, but you didn't say Y either.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a cough, sorry. So yeah, it's one of those where I totally understand why Charlie would not be ready for a conversation yet. And thankfully, Charlie's Charlie, so she gets over it relatively quickly.
Yeah, she's ready for the hug when Vaggie's ready for the hug later on, yeah. Shall we get to number 7?
We shall.
Yeah, this one is Hello Rosie, and this is the cannibal episode.
Yeah.
But also Carmilla teaching Vaggie how to fight against angels.
Yeah, so I love Camilla straight up telling Vaggie that, I know you're an angel. It's like, how? You have the X for an eye and you're using an angelic spear.
Yeah.
And those are things that Vaggie has had since episode 1. And again, if you're more eagle-eyed than I am, you might have been able to tell that her spear was an angel spear. I sure as fuck didn't.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. It's one of those where she seemed a little bit out of place in the pilot as just a normal, okay, she's a bit grey, but a normal demon that doesn't seem to be special like the rest of them. And yeah, that's the reason we find out is because, yeah, she's not a normal demon.
Yeah.
There are grey demons as well, like Camilla.
Yeah.
So she didn't seem that far out of place, and then we found out literally all angels are grey, pretty much. Well, the ones with human skin.
Okay, sure, we'll go with that for now.
Yeah, the ones that are... I actually no, because you've got the pink ones like St. Peter.
I don't think Luke's grey.
I think she is. Oh, she might be white, like monochrome white.
Hey, guess what? It's a real fucking easy way to remember.
Yeah, we'll just find out. Adam, Lute.
She's a very, very pale grey, so...
Yeah, click to see without mask. Oh, yeah, she's...
She looks like she's got human skin to me.
Yeah, she's early noughties. This is why you like goth girls. White, pale.
There is a lot of fan art of her sitting in Adam's lap, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam would like it.
Yeah. There's also a comic of Adam holding a Happy Meal box, and Luke just standing indignant behind her, behind him, going, "Excuse me, he asked for no pickles." Which I find funny, but I don't think Adam would be that calm about finding pickles when he asked for no pickles.
Yeah.
I imagine him being a little bitch about it.
Yeah. The one thing that always bugged me about this as well is that every time Adam's killing a bunch of demons, as in specifically sinners, they're all essentially his progeny.
Why does that matter?
Well, it's more a case of, like, he's killing, like, his great don't know how many great-grandchildren all the time just because he's a dick.
Okay. It doesn't add any more of a layer of arseholishness to him, that's the thing.
Well, I think it does, because most mass murderers don't kill members of their own family.
Here's the thing, Rick. When it's so many times removed, it doesn't matter. It's inconsequential.
True. Well, except he's also very outspoken about all of humanity came from my balls.
Yeah, but that's because he's a dick, Rick. There's no extra... He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't think it adds to the crime. That's my point.
True. Fair enough.
But yeah, Carmilla points out that Vaggie also fights like an angel, which is, you think you're invincible.
Yeah. All angels fight like that. They are so assured that nothing can hurt them that they never put any effort into defending themselves. And that's the way that that our heroes are going to be able to potentially win when they've got the right weapons.
Yeah, it makes sense, man, from that point of view. I don't understand how Adam managed to get so many angels that were just okay with killing people who literally couldn't defend themselves.
I mean, have you seen cults?
I'm just saying, man, I get it. It's part of the plot. It's just so out there to me.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those where I can see him going round heaven on the reg, just schmoozing people, and I think all of the exorcists are women.
Oh, yeah. Adam's not going to get any dudes.
No. I don't want any dudes sharing the spotlight. And just recruiting them for a righteous fight against some fuckheads. Let out any aggression that you have and just kill. That's rather an easy sell for someone who's already kind of violent and has been spending their entire afterlife in this idyllic setting where there's no wrongdoing, no violence, no nothing.
Yeah, because don't forget, the thing that actually made Vaggie stop was she didn't brutally murder a child that was running away, and that was enough to make one of the other angels go, "You're a coward."
I think it was Lute as well for that one.
I think it's implied to be Lute, but it's hard to tell when they got the masks on.
Yeah, and also took her eye for it.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Because I just thought that angels were like that.
Yeah, like they normally have eyes, and when Vaggie gets her eye taken out, she gets the X permanently. But when she has, I think, when the exorcists have their masks on, they normally have an X and an O.
Yeah. I also don't think Adam's permanently recruiting. I think it's implied that all of the exterminators are people who have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Charlie's story involves the cannibals.
Yes.
Which is a nice bit of a callback to the pilot, because Alastor mentions that he hangs out with the cannibals sometimes and they're nice people.
Yeah. And now we get to see that they are. Charlie is essentially recruiting cannibals to be not quite cannon fodder, but like elite cannon fodder for the upcoming fight.
It's not cannon fodder if it's to make up numbers. You know, cannon fodder means I'm sending you to your death. Whereas what she's doing here is, I'm going to arm you to the teeth, and we need the numbers to even have a chance of matching the angels. But she's pretty honest about the fact that some of you may die, you don't have to do this, but I want you to.
Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that actually sells it is, by the way, there's going to be angel flesh after this.
Yeah, that is a big selling factor. After she has the outburst of calling the old woman a fucking bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Susan.
Yeah, it was it was so out of character for Charlie, but so cathartic as a viewer.
Yeah. Rosie, the queen of the cannibals, is even she thinks Susan's a pain in the dick.
Yeah, but you got to win her over.
Because as soon that they're not all on board until she's on board. But yeah, and like this episode was very campy in terms of the oldie timey ways that the cannibals have, and I really digged it. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was very campy on that aspect, and also very they mixed it very well with the high tempo of Vaggy's little story.
Yeah. I found the quote that Serpentius uses to confirm that the Egg Boys talk bollocks, and it's bank accounts are a scam created by the shadow government.
Yeah. See? Oh yeah, we should probably mention that I believe it's this episode where was it this episode or the episode before where Charlie made the deal with Alastor? Because she made the deal to find out that angels can be killed.
It might be this episode.
I think it was this one as well. But yeah, she makes the deal and Alastor just goes, "I don't want your soul, but I want you to do me a favour at some point." To which Charlie goes, "I'm not going to hurt or kill anyone." And Alastor agrees to that amendment, but it means Charlie owes Alastor a favour.
Yeah,
and that's not good.
It's rather sinister, but also I remember the same thing in Spinneret. It's main character makes a deal with the main villain essentially, and the payment is a favor in the future. But before making the deal, the villain has to just specify this favor will not compromise any of your morals as I know them today.
Okay,
and it felt a lot like that.
It's still not good.
Oh, no. This will bite her in the ass.
Yeah. It'll definitely bite her in the ass if the suspected leash puller of Alastor is in fact Lilith.
Yeah, because then it's a leash upon a leash, really, isn't it? Like, she's not sold a soul, but she's made a deal.
Yeah.
Which is something that Vaggy told her very definitely not to do.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what Lucifer's reaction to this information would be. Because I can't imagine he just let that slide.
I got it. I tell you what's bugging me about Lucifer's design. Charlie's got a nose, but Lucifer doesn't.
Sure.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. But yeah, that doesn't bode well for anybody involved. So, shall we go to episode 8?
Yeah. Yeah, the show must go on, so this is the real one.
So there's something I want to talk about very quickly, because it was pointed out to me on Twitter, or not to me specifically, but I saw it on Twitter. Early on, during one of the wide shots, you can see Serpentius talking to Charlie rather nervously. Obviously, you can't hear what they're saying, because it's not the focus of the shot. And then later on, when Serpentius goes up to Cherry Bomb and asks her, to spend the night with him, you can see Charlie in the background cheering, and the implication is that Serpentius asked Charlie for some advice.
Yeah, either that or would it be against redemption to ask out someone who doesn't want to be redeemed?
I don't think that was the case.
Well, maybe not, but it's also one of the reasons why, like, Cherry Bomb isn't a member of the hotel because she loves being a little chaos villain, and everyone's okay with that. This is in comparison to the one whose name escapes me already, from the one who owes a load of money. She very definitely does not want to be a part of that because she thinks they're all lame, whereas Cherry Bomb thinks they're all kind of cool, doing their own thing, and like she doesn't want to stand in the way of anything like that. She's all for super freedom. Yeah,
well, she might change her tune if she sees what could possibly happen, but we'll get to that bit later. I will also say shout out to Angel Dust for being the perfect wingman for Pentius.
Yeah.
Because Pentius is trying to be all honourable and noble because that's how he sees courtship. However, Angel Dust knows Cherry Bomb better than anyone, so it just subtly slides up and goes, "Hey, I heard he's got 2 dicks."
Yep. And well, true to form, when he like takes her by the waist, bends her over, and gives her a big old smooch, she goes, kind of hot.
Yeah, we'll get to the fight scene in a bit. I will say this was a perfect setup pre-fight wise. Whenever you get big combat scenes in media, I usually care more about what goes on beforehand, except for Game of Thrones in the last seasons because they sucked at it. But so everyone's toasting, everyone's in a good mood because they're optimistic, even if they don't feel so.
Yeah, it's like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've got we basically get to the final fight. A bunch of them have costume changes.
Yeah, fucking Charlie gets a shield out of nowhere.
Yeah, Charlie gets a shield. She gets this really cool looking dress, which is not normally what she would wear. She's normally the suit wearer. Vaggie gets something that looks like an X-Men costume.
Yeah, a little bit.
Crossbones. She looks like Crossbones.
What, from Marvel?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but okay.
That big old X on her chest and everything. Or actually, no, it's the X-Force, isn't it? They all have like the black X costume of those. But yeah, and you get the full on kiss with Charlie and Vaggie after they've done their nice reprise song.
Yeah. So this fight's interesting, isn't it? It's very there's constant action, which is always a plus. They got a big sort of dome shield, which I think is Alastor's doing, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it is. This is another of his. This is my territory. I'm gonna protect this territory kind of moments until everyone's ready to actually fight.
Yeah. Nifty gets given a little dagger, which comes up again later, but more importantly, she's like, "What do I do?" We get the gag of kill angels, and she immediately charges angel dust.
Yeah. Not that one.
Yeah. To be fair, if I saw a little ball of chaos running at me with a knife, I'd be scared.
Yep.
But yeah, the fighting happens. We obviously, everything boils down to here are the names against the names, because that's what people care about most. Alastor goes up against Adam.
He does.
And I think a lot of the fan base got weirdly disappointed by the outcome of this fight, despite the fact that I don't think anyone should have realistically believed Alastor was going to beat Adam here.
I don't know. It's a case of we don't know how strong angels are when they're not invincible.
Yeah, but Adam's not an angel, and he's quite clearly the big boss.
Yeah, he's very definitely the big boss. This is one of the few times that Alastor drops his vocal modulation.
I think it's the only time, isn't it?
There are multiple different times, but yeah, he's you can count them on one hand.
Fair enough.
This is when he doesn't win, and he goes, "What the fuck just happened?" And then he poofs.
Yeah, well, he kind of melts into some sludge, doesn't he?
Yeah, he melts and escapes.
Yeah, but more importantly, Vox, the three Vs are watching this, and Vox is going, "No! What? No!"
Because he didn't get to do it.
Well, no, because he knows Alastor didn't die there, and he's pissed, because it's like, no, you should know. Why? Now, to be fair to Alastor, he did get some good hits in, but...
He did. He performed admirably. But Serpentius gearing up for his final assault was like, ooh, I love that bit.
Yeah, it was great. The fucking kiss and Cherry Bomb going, oh, that was kind of, as you say, kind of hot.
Yeah, kind of hot. And then his murder machines and everything, and then, that got snapped out real quick.
So fucking unceremoniously, and Adam just goes, oh, that could have been bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vaggie goes up against Luke, and they do this thing that I always fucking hate. They try and justify it, but at the end of the day, it's just so Luke can survive to season 2, where Vaggie ultimately wins after a hell of a struggle, and she just goes, I'm not gonna kill you, you have to live with blah 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 blah, and I instantly just tuned out, because I'm like, this is fucking stupid, this is always stupid, I fucking hate this trope.
Yeah, it is the fucking Batman trope, really, isn't it?
Batman's different, because Batman's whole thing is, I'm supposed to be a hero, I shouldn't cross that line. It's still stupid, but it makes sense for Batman. Yeah,
I mean, with Batman, it's a case of, if I cross that line, I'm no different to the villains, because everything else I do is just as bad.
Pretty much, man.
Like, he terrorizes villains the same ways that villains terrorize the innocent.
It's one of those where it just drove me a bit crazy, especially seeing as these people that they are fighting and deciding to spare because it's a fate worse than death, which is bollocks, anyway, is just like, I've been actively antagonizing them and actively targeting them, and you're like, I'm gonna make you live so you have to suffer the embarrassment of this until the rest of your days, and it's like, it's so bothersome. But yeah, Lucifer saves the day.
Yeah, he does. Lucifer pops in. Basically, you couldn't have had a more on-brand entrance than he gives pretty much right here. He just like rides in essentially on a cloud of farting rainbows and just wins.
Well, he straight up makes the point. He makes a point of protecting Charlie and saying as much of like, you targeted my daughter. All fucking rules are gone. Fucking decimates Adam, and also includes the epic line of, "Now I'm going to fuck you, Dad." It's fuck you up. Why? What did I say? But even then, with Adam with his mask off, Lucifer looks like he's going to be like, piss off and don't come back. And of all people, Nifty fucking comes in and just shanks the fucker.
Yeah, multiple times. Like, she's following a programming. You see an angel, stab it.
Yeah, well, I kind of glossed over it, but yeah, there's an interesting scene between Alastor and Nifty early on in the episode where they're just sort of, Alastor's sort of leaning on a banister so he can be eye level with Nifty, who is balancing on said banister, and Nifty says something weird because that's what Nifty do, to which Alastor just laughed and goes, "Oh, you're an enigma I wish to unwrap."
But yeah. But yeah, this was I think this was a fantastic ending to this series. I think every episode was essentially better than the one before it, more or less.
Sure.
And I even stopped at 7 because I'm like, I don't want to be disappointed after what was a really good episode there, because I think it's going to be tough to follow. So I left episode 8 for a different day.
Yeah, I watched all of this in one day. I wasn't disappointed by anything, but again, there was just some things just made no sense to me, and I think I've pointed most of them out.
Yeah. I think the deal that Lilith had may have been with Adam.
Okay.
And now that Adam is dead, that's what allows Lilith to now start acting.
Yeah, but why would she act against Charlie? Because Luke seems to imply that Lilith has to do something about Charlie and Lucifer.
Yeah, well, it's also the fact that now that Lute is essentially now the leader of the Exorcists, but now everybody knows that the Exorcists were a lie.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking annoying if the first thing that doesn't happen in heaven in the next series is Sarah doesn't just go, okay, this group now needs to stop.
Yeah, like, I can see the Exorcists becoming a renegade faction.
Yeah, that I can live with, but officially associated with heaven needs to be a fucking no-no, because it makes no sense for them to keep going on with Heaven's Blessing. Speaking of Heaven's Blessing, though, something I didn't expect and was pleasantly surprised for, fuck me, Charlie's plan works!
Yeah. I saw a YouTube short that didn't show what happened, but had the words in the title of what was going to happen of Hazbin Hotel's first redemption, and then in brackets spoilers, basically saying, yes, there's going to be a redemption in the finale this time. So I didn't click it, but I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, so Pentius got redeemed.
Yeah.
And the contrast in expressions between Emily and Sarah, because Emily, they're both confused, but Emily looks more optimistic, whereas Sarah is like, this is bad, why is this happening?
Yeah, Sarah is essentially shitting herself, whereas Emily is like, she's channeling her inner Charlie. She's confused, but she's channeling her inner Charlie. You can just see the eyes widening with innocence.
Yeah.
I think the one who's most confused about it is Serpentius himself.
Yeah, and the thing that I feel bad about is, like, it doesn't appear that his Eggy boys got sent up there with him.
Yeah, it seems the Egg Boys didn't succeed. It also depends on how dead they are, because normally demons just reform after they're killed.
But it's not been established, Rick, that's the problem.
Yeah, fair enough.
And we don't know if that's the way it works when angels kill them.
Oh yeah, when angels kill them, it seems to be almost certainly not. However, we don't know how dead they would have been from the blast. I'm looking forward to seeing what happened to them in season 2, even if it's a case of they all get a little memorial, because they need to be remembered.
Yeah, I mean, Serpentius has got a memorial because everyone's grieving him during the final song.
Yeah.
Also, someone pointed something out at me that I did not catch while watching because it was said so quietly, but when they isolated it, when Alastor pops up during that final segment, Lucifer fucking turns his head and goes, "Ah, this fucking guy." Which is a detail
very
I
on
love.
brand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good little nod to the fact that I think Lucifer will flip his shit if he finds out Alastor's got a deal going on with Charlie.
Yeah. However, I can see it being one of those episodes where he flips his shit for the entire episode and then finds out that all the deal is a favor, and Alastor ended up just saying it won't compromise her morals, kind of thing.
But I don't think that'll be enough to satisfy Lucifer, because Lucifer knows that a favor could be a lot.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't against her morals, it was specifically against the act of harming
it was just
or
a
killing
favor,
someone.
Yeah, no harming, no killing, which can still mean enslaving.
Well, not even that. It's so ambiguous that we just don't know how bad it might be. It might be nothing, but it's Alastor and he wants to get out of his deal, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And I fully believe that the reason why Alastor's been so helpful with the Hazbin Hotel is because he's wanted a deal with Charlie since the very beginning.
Yeah, if he's probably wanted wanted to deal with Lucifer since the beginning, but nobody can get close. Charlie is the next best thing, and I think he's the only one that respects her as the next best thing, as opposed to people like Katie Killjoy, who just see her as a joke.
Which, by the way, voiced by fucking Brandon Rogers in this show.
Yeah, in the original it was a lady, now it's not.
And yet, Brandon Rogers can do a very good girl voice.
Yeah.
Like, still very definitely him, but, you know, it's a good use of a cameo, that's all I'm saying.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else? Oh yeah, and obviously we got that reveal, which we've alluded to many a time, of Luke and Lilith. With Adam's dead, your deal's not in force anymore. It's just, it's very vague. We don't know yet.
I've read somewhere that it might be alluded to that Lucifer also got with Eve.
I don't think that's the case. I think people are misinterpreting a line, because Lucifer is giving Adam a lot of shit when they're fighting, and one of the things he says is, I stole your first wife, and also I got the eyes of your second, alluding to the forbidden fruit.
Oh yeah, so it's alluding that he's the one that was the serpent.
Yeah. Look, he could have gotten with Eve, but I imagine he was with Lilith at that point. It's one of those. Either way, rest in peace, Adam. Not.
Rest in pieces. And yeah, his normal head design, I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I can see it not being quite as marketable as what we ended up with.
I don't think it looks cool at all. I think it looks very generic. But that's so on point for the first man.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Is there anything else we need to discuss, or should we just do our wind down?
I think it's reasonable time for a wind down. One other thing. A24 are the studio that made this.
Yes.
And I believe
anything called
they did something else that they did something else that was really cool recently. Other than the Dicks the musical. It was, oh man, I'm sorry. I had this in my head a while ago, and apparently I didn't note it down. They did do.
Oh, what a thrilling end to our episode, Rick. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. All right, skip it.
Skip it. Fucking timestamp it so I can get rid of it.
Okay. Now, they did Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a very well-received movie that I thought was really cool. And so, yeah, they're no strangers to doing interesting things. It's just that this is the first thing that they've done is that it's completely animated.
Yeah, I've heard of that thing, but I've never watched it.
Sure. But yeah, I guess this is time for a good old final three. So, do you have a favourite moment?
My favourite moment is, I honestly think it's probably Charlie pushing Vaggie towards Lucifer and going, "This is my girlfriend," and Vaggie being awkward and being like, "Hello," and Lucifer's like, "Girls, I like girls." It's very character establishing, and it's just a cute moment.
Yeah.
What about you?
Is it cheating to say Serpentius' final stand?
No.
I think it is. So I'm going to go with my second one of when Alastor and Serpentius are having a little wordy face-off where Serpentius is trying to join of, "Oh, yes, the one who ruined my coat. I definitely remember you now." And Serpentius just shits himself.
They do a very good job of showing fear in Serpentius' eyes in that scene.
Yeah. Because in any other show, he would make a really good design for a main villain, whereas in this, he's just a goofy guy. But we can't always talk about our best bits. We sometimes have to talk about the downsides. Do you have a weakest link?
It serves the plot, and I kind of see what they were going for. However, I just can't stand the obvious hypocrisy of heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, it is the plot, and that's kind of the point of it. But it's so maddening how there's only one character who is swayed by what is shown to be the truth.
Like, I get it. Adam's the first man, so he gets a lot of
clout.
Yeah, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But he gets barely a slap on the wrist, despite the fact he did everything that Sarah told him not to. Like, even though he's being a dick and outright abusing a lot of his privilege in front of everybody, the fact that he outright ignores Sarah's advice/orders, and he doesn't get comeuppance for that even, makes so little sense to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you?
Absolutely. This might be a bit sour grapes, but other than the songs, I found the music itself to be like really non-memorable. Like the opening and ending themes, I didn't think were anywhere near as passionate or groovy or just anything as the rest of the show is. Like there's so much love poured into the rest of it, and these just they just feel afterthoughty.
Well, unlike you, Rick, because I'm not an anime guy, I skip intros and outros.
Well, the intro was like 3 seconds long.
So
like,
why?
There isn't actually an opening theme, and that bugs me. I wanted there to be like a proper opening theme, and the outro is just a longer version of it.
That's interesting, because we clash on this one, because I kind of respect the fact that it's short and gets it over with.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Like with Steven Universe, for instance, I think that's the perfect length of something that it's short enough to not need to skip every time.
Here's the thing, Rick. Vivzy Pop's other popular series, Haluva Boss, is on YouTube,
which has no opening.
Yeah, so I think this is a coming from YouTube problem, because a lot of people's intros
Sure.
on YouTube's, at least the good YouTubers, are very short.
Yeah, if it's more than like 2 seconds, then you're wasting people's time, and people will skip it anyway.
I mean, our intro's 7 seconds, Rick, so I think you're shitting on us a bit there. But yeah, it's one of those where I can understand why people don't like it. I kind of dig it. I think it makes sense.
Well, when I'm talking about intros like that, I'm talking about people like they'll start saying hello, and then they'll say roll the intro, and then they do something like that, and then
I meant specifically with Hazbin, because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, and the outro, it's fine, but like I just think it's a weak link in something that's full of basically non-ending high points. I had to pick something. But yeah, do you have, out of everybody, an MVP?
It's really tough, because any member of the core Hazbin crew could really get this. Equally, you could give it to Vivian Madrano for creating the weird and wonderful world, or any of the voice cast, like, fuck me, they've got some knockout talent.
Yeah.
I really want to give it to Charlie, but I think I actually have to give it to Serpentius.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because he has the arc, really.
He wasn't in it as much as any of the other characters. Like, case in point, he didn't even get introduced until episode 2. And he consistently stole the scene whenever he was on screen. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Poochie problem of me going whenever he wasn't around, where's Poochie? It was just every time he was around, I was like, man, he's adorable, and I want to squish him.
Yeah. When he's there, you pay attention.
Pretty much, man. And of the demons, like, basically discounting Vaggie because she doesn't count, he seems to be like the only, well, case in point by what happens at the end of his arc, he's the only one who takes the Hazbin Hotel seriously.
Yeah, and that's part of when I said it was like becoming the mask. That's part of what defines him as a person, is that he sees what they're trying to do and he just treats it sincerely, and it's because of that he's able, potentially, but because of that he's able to be redeemed.
Yeah. Which we don't actually know. We still don't know what the criteria is, because we know Adam's criteria is bullshit that he just made up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've rambled long enough. Rick, who gets the all-important coveted MVP award from you?
I'm taking a minor leaf out of what you've said, and I'm going to go with Alex Brightman, the voice of Adam and Serpentius, in that he gets a double whammy here. He gets two of the most interesting characters, definitely the two of the most entertaining characters in the show. Serpentius in the one that you want to kind of hug, rub his little, give him a little nuggie on the head and a little punch on the arm, the good little scamp. And Adam, someone who you just love to hate, and it's just so cathartic to see the character get killed. So being able to do both characters, I think, was a great testament to his range.
I disagree on that. I think that's more to do with the writing.
Yes, but also you can't just give it to the writing staff. If you give it to the writing staff win every time.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, these two totally different characters, like, apart from putting on a bit of a lisp for Serpentius, I don't think the range was really there without the writing to go along with it. So I think you need to just give a nod to the fact that that's not entirely thanks to the actor.
Yeah, true.
Not to knock him, by the way, because he, of course, did a wonderful job. That being said, I also want to disagree on your point of loving to hate Adam. I didn't love to hate Adam. He had go-away heat. Like, he was to give a reference for the two people who are watching this that might also understand wrestling, he's basically X-Pac.
Sure. But yeah, I think that's about enough from us today. If you liked the video, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube, and if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can instead send an email, which would go to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
It's going to be a goodbye from me.
Yep, see you next week, guys, with who knows what.